Welcome back to Virtual Reality on the Gamer Muscle YouTube channel. Sniper rifles in virtual reality are absolutely amazing. And in this video I'm going to explain to you exactly why they're amazing and what you're missing out on if you haven't actually tried one and are currently living in the land of 2D. Now, posture with the sniper rifle in VR is both a blessing and a way to make yourself look like a tit, and also make lots of VR videos of shooters look terrible. That's because in VR, obviously your hands, your body, your position, everything is tracked. And unfortunately, in my case, I'm a biscuit dunking, tea drinking Brit, not Arnold Schwarzenegger and not a SAS supremely trained super soldier. My posture is pretty terrible. That said though, we have been working on it and it's been immensely satisfying seeing the results come from actually steadying my body properly, getting your arms into a nice position and holding the rifle in a similar way even when not looking down the scope, making no scopes and other shots more likely to actually hit the target. Now obviously it's not going to be one-to-one with reality because I don't have a stick between my two hand controllers connecting them together, and it's still a game. But I have to say it's immensely satisfying being able to apply postures that I would typically only use with an air rifle or an airsoft gun and actually apply it to a video game rather than just have the game do all that stuff for me, such as you find in 2D first-person shooters. Aiming a sniper rifle in VR is the most fun shooting mechanic that I've ever experienced in a first-person shooter in any game, 2D, 3D, whatever. This is the pinnacle, the crest, the summit of lining up and shooting something. Forget anything else, this is it. And the reason for that is just the unprecedented amount of control. Again, it does come down to the fact that your hands are fully tracked, your body's fully tracked. You have absolute full control over where you're pointing the rifle. This on some levels does make it a lot harder to aim in VR than say in 2D because you have to keep your hands steady. There's full three-dimensional movement involved, but it also makes it easier and more intuitive than 2D shooters in the sense that wherever you point your gun, if it's pointing there, that's where it's going to shoot. The end result, however, is just that it's so much more nuanced and deep compared to using a keyboard and mouse or gamepad to aim a rifle. You can apply so many subtleties to how you aim and your aiming technique and your personal technique for aiming compared to just moving the mouse cursor to point over the top of what you're aiming at in the game or slightly above it to account for bullet drop. In VR, you have like the slight twists of your hands and your wrists, or how you steady your arms up against your body, controlling your breath to make sure that your aim is steady when you're shooting at stuff further in the distance to make sure that the crosshair is indeed over the target that you're actually aiming for. It's on another level compared to other first-person shooter experiences you've probably had. Now I can see that some people might say, oh no, it's too complicated, oh, it's just, there's too much there. But fair enough, you know, sometimes more simplified, more arcadey type games can be more enjoyable than something that's complicated. But I would argue that extra depth makes shots that you land, especially long distance shots where you are really trying to steady up your hands and steady up your breathing. When you actually hit those shots, it's on another level of satisfaction compared to hitting a long distance shot in a traditional shooter. All that work and effort that goes into getting that shot is paid off with the reward of the person's head exploding in the distance. It's the more effort you put in, the more you get out of it. That's basically what I'm saying. Now in this case we're playing Pavlov, which has a fantastic scope on top of the sniper rifle, as do the rifles and sniper guns and gun rifle scopes in Onwards and other VR FPS shooters. Now it's worth pointing out that the sniper optics in Pavlov aren't particularly realistic in the sense that it doesn't have that vignetting and edge distortion that you get with a real scope, and you don't have to be as precise in terms of placing the scope or where you place the scope on your face to get a good lining up of the crosshairs. That said though, it's absolutely fantastic when you do bring the gun up to your right or left eye, it's your choice, to then aim down the scope, and you can see with your left eye, the eye that you're not using, the actual non-zoomed in view, or you can see down the scope. You can close one eye if you want to. I prefer to leave both eyes open so you've got more visual awareness, but you've just got all these options, and it's just so dynamic again compared to if you're to be using a scope in a traditional first-person shooter where typically you right-click and there you go, you've got the scoped view. What's especially satisfying is when you do look down the scope, it magnifies, of course, the movements that your hands and your body and your breathing are making, which then lets you know if you are keeping your breathing calm and what you need to do to actually improve it and get that crosshair a bit more steady. So it's a really nice feedback mechanism to actually make you better at aiming and make it obvious what you're doing wrong. Personally, I much prefer that to what you typically find in 2D first-person shooters with sniper rifles, where you have a baked-in sort of sniper arm movement that you press a hold your breath button to steady down. It's way more fun, in my opinion, you actually being in control of that. Of course, it's just different, and both can be really fun, but I prefer doing it myself. I prefer the authentic, classic, granddad sniper rifle control. Now, I have to admit, the reloading in VR with VR FPS is not perfect, and I think developers have still got a little bit ways to go, in that it can be a little bit janky and a little bit counterintuitive as to know if you're actually latching on, if you've got the reload mechanism completed. Things that I think will just improve as these games develop. But, crucially, where the reloading is actually really interesting with VR FPSs is that rather than just pushing a button to reload and your character does an animation, you actually have to develop the skill of reloading yourself, however that is done in the specific game that you're playing. In the case of Pavlov with the sniper rifle, you have to pull the bolt back, push it forwards and pull it back down each shot, and then after 5 shots you have to release the magazine and then plop a new magazine in there. The process involved means that you have a degree of tension there between your shots and a skill involved in actually developing the ability to reload quickly, and then you have to factor that in with the situation you're in, if you're exposed, if you've got good cover, and if you're actually going to take the shot and risk the amount of time it takes to reload it, do a snapshot, or maybe wait a bit longer. There's a whole load of dynamics that come from the manual act of reloading that again is just completely lost in 2D shooters and really does just add tension and again nuance to the VR FPS experience. So there you go, that's 4 reasons why sniper rifles in VR are absolutely amazing and in my opinion destroy sniper rifles in 2D shooters. Make sure you get yourself a copy of Pavlov. I've been really enjoying it. I basically ignored the sniper rifle in this and have been using the other weapons in the game, and it was only last night that we really gave the sniper a good amount of time and I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. So I'm going to get back in and play it more. Make sure you join the Game & Muscle Discord channel. I put that link in the video description so you can jump in with us next time we play if you've got a VR headset. And make sure you subscribe to the channel for more VR content. Click the like button if you like this sort of rundown of things. And there you go. Until the next one, guys. Thanks for watching this. Happy sniping. Happy head exploding. Goodbye.